portion, I end up surviving this shit. And if I want a son, I ain't got the money, I'll probably be robbing this shit. Don't know how much I cry for this shit. Said I'm willing to ride for this shit. You know murder's my hobby, inside of my closet's a bunch of dead bodies and shit. Niggas say that I'm cursed, cause I go to church and stare at the Bible and shit. Shorty say I'm the worst, cause I do my dirt, and now I'm be hiding this shit. Bitch, I'm a savage, I spit at you bastards, I wonder what you gonna do to me, oh. I need to hear some more rapping, I'm just not impressed by your cash and your jewelry, oh. Are you my soldiers, and I'm a lieutenant, goddammit, you should be saluting me, oh. I hope you know I ain't going nowhere, all you rappers just better get used to me, ho nigga, I must have blew on my G's, bought me a Jeep, cause I wasn't riding as much. My bank account looking weak, don't look at me, I ain't got time for no fun. Starting to feel like Tyrese, I'm about to trip, and maybe start crying or something. I might just hit up the Smiths, throw me a fit, wait for my wire to come. Ain't nobody ever show me love when I was coming up, I had to double up and tell these niggas fucking love
World
me.
to have the
What you know about leaving the oven door open when there's no heat again, and the rent is due and your landlord trying to throw you out on the streets again, nigga. I was always dreaming of a Bentley and a fucking Lamborghini, wanna win 'em and I finally get a break. If I didn't get away before, I guarantee that if I talk to God, then I can say I got it when I pray. She don't really want me to get petty, turn a dime into a penny, but you know I got a lot of shit to say. I got just some water in a Henny, drink it up and let the semi shoot a pop you niggas all up in the face, blood all up in the lake. I wanna see a wake die, they don't wanna wait by. Creep when I came by, teeth like a canine, bleed through your Levi's, weak from the east side, eat when the beef shot, teeth from the teapot, aim from the treetop, bang to your knees pop, skirt in the Nissan, swerve in the three cops. You just a bird in a beehive, you just a cold in a room full of germs, nigga. I said all of my idols and favorite rappers ain't been rhyming a lot. What the fuck happened to Jay Electronica? I wonder if he still got it or not. Whatever happened to Elzai? Whatever happened to Meth? What happened to Beans? Whatever happened to Lauren? What happened to Banks? Tell me what happened to Blick? What the fuck happened to Most? What happened to Missy? Nigga, what happened
okay.
to Whatever happened to Q? What up with Common? Where the fuck, where did they go? Tell me what happened to Buttons? What about Luda? Hope they ain't losing it now. Hope they get back to the music, cause I need some new shit. I'm sick of these new niggas out. I'm that new nigga now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 niggas on the board, 10 niggas on the floor, 11 niggas on the porch, 12 killers won a war, 13 carnivores, 14 Labradors, 15 dinosaurs, 16.
Okay. Sure my mic is working, yeah. All right, I got a current setup on NASDAQ, and here's the 300K. I took a couple trades. I'm down, what, 42 bucks. So here's the thing. I want to do a little series with trying to pass these prop firms and then show the payouts too. And this is gonna be the first episode. I'll upload these videos, or I'll go live actually if I see a setup, if there's a possible setup for me to take. For NASDAQ specifically, we have, let's go a little overview of NASDAQ. NASDAQ, obviously, we're making higher lows and higher highs, so you want to trade with the trend until that breaks. There's VIX expiration that's happening today, which normally kind of means windows of weakness is open. But it doesn't mean we're going to crash. It doesn't mean we're going to go down the day of. We can still uptrend a little bit higher and then possibly start to show some weakness. And what we're trying to do is just capitalize on that. Let me just lower the music a little bit. We're trying to capitalize that and make some money both ways. Trying to be as unbiased as possible, just going with the trend. Now, if I look at the daily chart, let's see. I want to enter along here. We have a low here. I want that low to get taken out. Probably retest somewhere within the body structure to start scaling in some longs, and have this bottom wick as a stop loss. But we'll see. Let's go back to the daily and give you a brief overview of what the daily is doing. So the daily, once you're looking at support and resistance and you're using vertical support and resistance instead of trend lines and stuff like that, I'm not saying trend lines don't help, but for me personally, you get faked out a lot. As long as it's making higher highs and higher lows in an uptrend, you're fine. Lower lows, lower highs in a downtrend, you're fine. Just trade with the trend. So usually the rules that I have for me personally is identify the trend would be my first one. Trade with the trend. And once you identify the trend and all that stuff, you want to do some top-down analysis. Look at the weekly, the daily, 4-hour. all those time frames. Fade. You want to fade the short-term trend in the direction of the long-term trend. The reason that's important is because sometimes we're still uptrending, and you get these dips here, and you want to fade those dips to the upside. It's easier said than done because price sometimes pushes, like in this case. I mean, we're uptrending here, and we just pushed all the way down just to take that low out, and then we continue to move higher. But you still want, overall, we're still bullish. We've been moving up since the beginning of the year. So you want to fade the short-term trend in the direction of the long-term trend. Remember that. Remember, rule 5 for me is never apply your bias onto the markets, because you will increase the probability of thinking you're right and the market is wrong. And that leads to revenge trading. It's when you have let's say you enter a long and you get stopped out, and you're like, okay, price is still lower. Price is lower than my entry. I'm getting a better entry. And you enter again and get stopped out again. No, the market is going to move the way it wants to move. Your job is to adapt and move with the market. So let's take a look at daily. Ever since we had this push down here, you had this low, we bounced up, we made this high, we made a higher low compared to this low, and then we made a higher high, and we retested that as support, and we pushed up. After we pushed up to this break of structure here, where it was support, broke below it, it was resistance, and took us down. I think it was like 11% move down in 3 days. So we blew past this high. That's important. That means bulls are here. The hard part is knowing, okay, how much is this going to pull back in order for us to enter and get on the trend? Well, this pulled back significantly. You were still able to trade this, but all it did is it retested that area that we broke as support, and it held. So now we're moving back up. You have this push up here. Now this low is higher than this low. Push up, came back, retested it here. Obviously we came up here, but retested it here. So it was resistance, support. This low is higher than this low. This high is higher than this high. This low is higher than this low. So we're still uptrending. And here's what I'm expecting for this week. This is why I'm looking for longs. If we're able to hold this area here, we can probably push close to these highs that we made on Monday, and possibly close to this resistance area here, close to the all-time highs on NASDAQ, on NQ. Where would I take a short? If this were to play out here and we do get a nice bounce, then we're not able to breach this high, so we get a lower high. The moment I would take a short is if this area is breached, because we have a higher low compared to these lows here. Then you have a higher high compared to this high, and you have a potential higher low. The moment we move up and we're not able to take those highs out and we make a lower high, you're still somewhat bullish, because price can move up and do this. You're still holding support. So you're still somewhat bullish. The moment you want to turn bearish, structurally speaking, is when you break it. So if you're like this, and then you break it, now you broke the low, the higher low at this point in time. You're waiting for something like a retest, and then you're probably taking it lower. And it's your job to say, how far can this fall? How much can this fall? We could potentially, let's say this situation happens here. That's about a 8%, 7 and 20 basis point move to the downside, and you're still technically within an uptrend. Okay, you're still uptrending. So if that's 720, this roughly moves about half of what the NASDAQ moves in percentage terms. So NASDAQ would probably fall about 4%. S&P. So let's say it does the same thing. 4% will bring us roughly here. And you're still dealing with higher highs and higher lows at this point. Because if you took the big lows, we're still uptrending. So just be aware of those moves against the trend. That way you don't get stuck in a long and you're holding that long, and you're technically right, but that's what I mean. You don't want to be right. You want to make money. you're still technically wrong, but you're negative if you're trying to hold longs from up here in case we do get a pullback. Instead of getting that better entry, if you will, especially if you're a trader. So this is all I'm waiting for. That was my explanation here. Let's see. Okay. So the trigger for me now is to wait on the 5 minute on NASDAQ, see if it's able to breach this low, give me an entry here. If I can get an entry somewhere within, like I said, the 10-minute bodies, I'll take it. Stops below here. And we'll see if we can potentially squeeze it. Let's go on a 4-hour. If we could potentially squeeze it, here's the last area of resistance in a sense. So we can, there's a chance that we can at least take this trade all the way up to here. And then we'll take profit, and then we'll see what it wants to do. If it wants to make a lower high, or if it wants to break this and possibly make a higher high before coming back down. That's where you have to take everything into consideration at that point. So we're pushing up now. If it doesn't give me this trade, I'm not going to take it. It is what it is. Gold, I took a trade on gold on my Top Step account, on this account that I'm on, and beautiful trade. So let me break that trade down for you. So there's you look at the daily chart on gold, and you see that we're pushing and we're uptrending. Let's see here. We're uptrending. You're making higher highs, higher lows. At this point, it went below the EMA just to reclaim it and go back above it. As soon as that happened, bulls are back in control. And I looked at the 4-hour to the hourly time frame, and you see at this point in time, you have an area of significance, which is resistance, flipped it, support, made a higher high, support. Here's the thing when you're trading. I ended up taking the long here. My take profit was here. It never got there. But it was 1 o'clock, and then we got that big move back down, and then move up during next candle day open. So what I ended up doing is I ended up closing at break even. Because now it doesn't look as prominent as it should. Now it looks like it's getting heavy. We might change direction and go to the downside. But normally when you have a area of support and resistance, it's going to give you a fake out. And that's exactly what happened here during, I think it was a couple hours before London session. All you're waiting for, if this happens, is it doesn't mean you change your bias and short. What that means is you then wait to see if there's follow through and if it takes a prior high. So here's a high that it took out. And here's another high that it took out. So as this price pushed up higher, it took out these two highs. So now you're waiting for a simple retest of this area. And it gave you that retest. Ended up taking profit right at the highs here. Now we're at daily resistance. And let's see what happens within this area. So it was a good trade all the way up to daily resistance. And now you have to be patient enough to ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do in this situation? Obviously, you can only long or you can short. If we're able to continue to push higher, we breach this high and we come down, we're looking for longs. Okay, looking for longs. The moment you want to look for shorts is if, let's see here, if we do something like this. You want to start looking for shorts. Because all this is doing at this point now is you have a high, you have a lower high, then you have a low, which technically it's still higher than this low, and this low, and then you push up higher to make another lower high, and then you break that low, then you want to start looking for some pullback to get into shorts and possibly target the bottom here for take profit. So essentially what trading is patience. The more patient you are, the more money you're going to make, because these setups happen all the time. They happen all the time. I think NASDAQ is running away from me. Oh no, it's just still reaching back resistance here. Okay, it's still reaching resistance right there. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if we can give us that push down. I'm gonna go make some coffee. Here's my low here. I'm gonna put a alert just in case if it does come down and it wicks it, then I can come back and see where we're at. So once again, the breakdown for NASDAQ is I want to take a long here to potentially fill or just head back to resistance, and then I'll cut my longs there, and I'll be patient to wait what it does. If it's going to make a lower high, I'm not going to short, technically speaking, just because it does this. I want to see some confirmation in a sense, so I want to see this break this low that it creates. If it does that, then wait for some type of pullback. Probably your moving average is going to be something like this. So some type of pullback before lower. And that's how I like to trade. Simple and to the point. So once again, that account is at 299,948.50. We need to reach, to pass the first phase, we need to reach 30,000. Pass the second phase, we need to reach 15,000. So, there's also another possible setup here that I have on Forex. It is British pound. Okay. So here's, I want to take a long here on GBP CHF. Let's go to the daily time frame. This is another possible setup too. I thought I was going to take it last night, but it wasn't able to reach this area. So we on the daily, we have an area of support here. And what if you notice, let's zoom out as much as we can. We're downtrending. So am I taking a trade against a trend? Yes. The overall trend is down. But the reason I'm comfortable in taking this long for now is ever since we made this low, we've came back up to resistance, and then we made then we made these highs, and then we made a higher low. Then we pushed up, we made a higher high, we pushed back down, we made a higher low. So in the short term of this downtrend that's been happening, let's go to the monthly chart. It's been happening pretty much since 2007. We've just been downtrending. There's some type of smaller a small change of trend for now. Also, if you look at the current price action, is you have that low, this low here that's higher than this low, and it's higher than this low. So we're kind of uptrending for the meantime. Yeah, something like that, right? You're uptrending. We also have, let's take this path out. We have this low, we have this high, we have this higher low compared to this low, we have this higher high compared to this high. So we can potentially start basing here for a higher low and then move up. And this will roughly be your take profit. Obviously, the first take profit, where you want to take some money off the table because you don't know what's going to happen, is if you're able to get an entry down here, you want to take some profit, take some off the table about this area right before the last high. And then you want to probably take half positions off and trim down, take some profits, and then see if you can trail it and if it makes the move higher and if it reaches this daily area of resistance, where you have this touch point, this touch point, this touch point, touch point, and you could probably play that, let it squeeze higher, and then we'll see what happens after that. You can obviously play the shorts and longs, depending if we get up here, probably end up shorting. But just for the meantime, since 2022, it's been making higher lows since 2022 on the weekly time frame. So that's important. We want to keep that in mind. We want to trade with the trend. I know, like I said, you want to see what the overall trend is, and it is down, but there is things you can catch here, especially when you're looking at the daily that's filtering out all the noise for you. So that's another potential trade, is the British pound Swiss. If it, like I said, if it's able to move down, probably will do that today or tomorrow and give me that entry. I'm very happy to start positioning into some longs here. Short, sorry, my stop loss would be below this low. I don't want it to go below this low. And the reason why I don't want it to go below that low is even because there's times where it's going to do this. It's going to take out that low, take out possibly this low, and then just wick back up. And it starts to move within that region, and just so you can see your trade go to where you you envisioned it going, but just because it does that is you don't want to hope. This is where I would make the mistake, and I would apply my thesis like, okay, there's a better entry down here, even though it's broken that support. I'm gonna count for a deviation, a fake out, a wick, and then sometimes it works out, but majority of times it doesn't. And plus, you have here, you have a high, a lower low, a lower high, a higher low compared to this low, a lower high, a higher low compared to this low. And now you finally have a break of structure where it's finally a higher high. So if you can get a higher high, boom, with a higher low, I think that's a very, very good setup for you to take and take it to the upside. And we'll do like a $20 lot size here. And like I said, possibly take it up to here, and take some money off the table and start trailing and see if it's able to reach this area and then past this area. You have that main area of resistance right there. But those are the trades. So British pound, you know what? How do I rename this shit right here? Can I rename? How do I do this? Import list, make copy, rename. Trades. So we're gonna add these pairs, Dixie, USD, okay. Add Dixie to here, USD, JPY, USD, CAD, GBP, what was the other one I got? GBP, CHF, and then GBP. Let's add that one there too. It's pretty good. Let's add the big one. USD. Okay, so let's go to FX. Oh yeah, GBP, JPY as well. Okay, perfect. Can delete this. How do I do this? Clear list. That section, clear list. Okay, whatever. Now we have them. We can look at all of them here. So those are the trade setups. Let's see, where's NASDAQ? Yeah, NASDAQ is just things pushing higher. All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna make some coffee. Let me clear this. Take all this off. Okay, be right back.
That's when the real champions come out. That's when that real dog come out. Because if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch. And let the big dogs eat. Let them on the fucking field. Have some heart. Everybody's great when they're not tired. The champions is when they tired. That's when the real champions come out. That's when that real dog come out. Because if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch. And let the big dogs eat. Let them on the fucking field. Have some heart.
All right, welcome.
Arena. Vegeta. Meaningless prop.
Take care of this boo first. You wouldn't give me your best in this fight if you were too distracted.
Vegeta.
All right.
Farewell, Bulma, Trunks, and even you, Kakarot.
Gotta restart this.
servant, and he obeys my every command if he knows what's good for him.
You'll regret that!
Okay, it seems like it's not even gonna give me this trade. That's fine. We are patient. Where's GBP? Okay, got gold here. Okay, I still got my alert on for NASDAQ just in case we do get that move down before daily candle close. GBY, USD CAD. All right, no trades for today. First live stream with this 300k prop firm challenge. Also, it's good that I'm doing this and uploading it to YouTube, so that way it can save as an archive. I'll use that as my trading notes or my trading journal. Everything will be on my page. All right, y'all, I am out. Peace.